Good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Cooper, known as the Channel Guy Trader, and I'm reporting to you live from Wall Street Trading's Miami office down in sunny South Florida. Today's date is Tuesday, October the 1st, 2013, and here is today's After the Bell Market Summary video brought to you by WallStreetTrading.com. I want to first start off by taking a look to see how the indices closed the session out here for the day. The Dow closed up 62 points, the Nasdaq closed up 46.5, and the S&P 500 closed up 13.5 points. If we take a look at the breadth on the markets, we had 4,562 issues advancing on the NYSE, NASDAQ, and the AMEX. We had 1,733 issues declining on the NYSE, NASDAQ, and the AMEX. So breadth was pretty much in favor of the bulls, just about 4 to 1 there, but definitely in favor of the bulls today. We had a lot of market participation across the board in different sectors. We had some very bullish action in the healthcare. We had some decent action in the basic materials sector, some bullish action in tech, and some bullish action back in the financials. As that sector has been pretty weak, and they're catching. They caught a decent bid today. So I want to go ahead and break down the charts. I want to start off with the IWM, which is the market leading index right now. Made new all-time highs again today here, and we've been talking about this index being in a nice little upward channel, as you guys can see here. We talked about it holding above that 50% upward channel. So what they did here, it looks like we have a little shakedown below the 50% key trend line of this upper big channel that I have just marked for you right there. I'll mark it with a thicker line here, this big channel right here. So 50% trend line was forming a nice little ascending triangle against that trend line, and did a little shakeout on yesterday, on Monday, and now we are above the breakout here, and most likely we will possibly go higher tomorrow, as long as the IWM can hold above, say, 107.5. Target on the IWM trade is up here towards 110, towards the top of the channel. I do not think that would be a problem. It's the whole government shutdown fiasco was not a big deal at all. Markets still traded higher. They had caught a nice bid. They sold off the highs, and then they caught a nice bid in the last 2 minutes of the close there, believe it or not. So IWM looks pretty good. The pivot low you want to work off of is yesterday's lows right here, 105.20. And then as long as we can hold above 107 half or so, you should be in good shape to continue moving higher. That's how the IWM closed up, 1.16% small cap, uh, Russell 2000 small caps. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the SPY. The S&P 500 ETF closed up closed up 0.80% here, $1.33. All right, a nice little hold here at this 168.03 level. We'll call it 168. So we're back above this 168 bid. The pivot low that we have to work off of is yesterday's lows, right there by 167. And the target on this trade is back up here towards 171. We get back above 171. Our target's back up here towards the highs around 173 half or so. All right, so S&P 500 traded pretty well today. If you take a look at the ES here on the left-hand side, our ES daily chart, same thing here. We put a hammer in yesterday. They bought us. They bought the market up over 1682 today, and we closed right on the highs. A lot of the action, though, let me take a look at the intraday action here. Again, we had some nice callouts in the chat room. Again, if you have not been to the chat room yet, it is mywallstreettv.com. We had some decent callouts in the chat room. All right, the whole trade this morning was, let me bring my other screen over here real quick here for you guys. And again, if you guys didn't watch the midday market update video, I pretty much gave the whole update on what took place in the morning session. But in any case, we had this resistance right here from the overnight session. All right, we also had some resistance from the previous day's highs right here. So once we were really able to get a trigger for a long over 1681, once we had some more clues come in and tells the market wanted to trade to the top side, which happened once we started making this little higher pivot lows right here. Okay, we got a nice little break. Oops, sorry about that. We got a nice little break above that 1681, above this little yellow area right here. Double resistance from the trend line and from the previous day's highs. That momentum came in, right? Volume came right back in, and we were off to the races. Then they gave us a nice little rollover at the in the lunch hour, and then of course right a minute before the cash closed, the bids started coming into the ES. As you guys know, if you trade the equity, if you trade futures, the futures market does not close until 4:15. So in the last minute, they rallied the market up, and then after 4:01, the futures market continued to go higher. So they did not really give any of those participants that trade the cash index or trade the SPY well, if you day trade, they not give you opportunity to catch that last move up. But if you're swing trading, well, you'll hopefully wake up to a nice little gap up tomorrow morning. But in any case, just a little bit of some big boy market games. A minute left in the close. A lot of people like myself were expecting them to rally the market up, give us a nice little rally in the last 30 minutes, and they saved it for the last minute. So I was not able to catch that. But we were on the right side of the market this morning. Too bad we just did not get that nice move back up towards the highs before the cash index closed, but everything still is in pretty good shape here. ES should look to make its way back up towards 1695, 1700. Then we have 1705, then back up here towards 1720. If this is in fact a possible B, C move up, possible in play for the next leg up, back up towards the highs. We'll see how that plays out. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Nasdaq. All right, via the triple Qs here, the Nasdaq 100 ETF up 1% today, up 80 cents. Same thing here. We're holding above that key 77.28 area. Nice little downward resistance that was broken today, and we see did we make new 52-week highs? Yes, we made new 52-week highs by a penny. It looks like the high this was 79.69 back here on the 18th of September. We hit a high today at 79.72, so we made new 52-week highs on the Nasdaq, okay, by 3 cents. And the next target on the Nasdaq is up here towards 82 and a quarter. So we still have about a good $2 or so in the triple Qs before we get to that 61.8% retracement from the tech bubble sell-off back here in 2000. All right, and you guys can take a look at the weekend review video, and I believe I showed that Fibonacci retracement there. Let's go ahead and take a look at those Nasdaq proprietary channels that I like to show you guys in the video here. Again, Nasdaq held pretty well. All right, that little key level of resistance that we have highlighted there. Okay, did get respected, back test held, and now we've broken out. And of course, the Nasdaq is looking pretty strong. Next target on the Nasdaq futures will be up here towards 33.50. I do think that you may want to focus on the Nasdaq going forward instead of the S&P 500. I believe that's what I'm possibly going to be doing there. And this thing looks like it's getting ready to make a nice little move up tomorrow. We'll see how that plays out. All right, a couple of catalysts for that move in the Nasdaq today, of course, was Apple. Okay, Apple was up a little over 2.25%, up $11.21. All right, remember we did mention not to buy Apple up here, wait for it to pull back. It did pull back, and now a possible move up here, pivot low that was made yesterday. We'll see if this thing can make its way back up towards 495, 498. There's also a lot of talk with Carl Icahn going in there and buying shares and talking about it on Twitter, so he's getting everybody hyped up as they're like, oh, okay, he must know something that we don't know, and so they're buying it. He did his due diligence, he did his research, he does good research, so we're buying it, and he's getting people back in Apple with this bullish sentiment on Apple, which I'm not saying you can have bear sentiment on it. They did do pretty well with their new phone releases, okay, but we'll see how it plays out. Again, I'm not a big fan of trading Apple. I do not trade it at all myself. But I do watch it, of course, to trade the NASDAQ or the NASDAQ futures or just to get a general picture of how the tech sector is doing, per se. But Amazon, another stock that we've been mentioning to you guys to get long. This stock was a stellar performer today, up over 2.5%, up $8.31. We mentioned in yesterday's After the Bell market summary video of Amazon continues to hold a bid at 311, 310 or so. Look for the stock to make a move higher, and that it did. It made new all-time highs today. We hit a high on September the 20th of $320.57, $320.57. Today we hit a high of 321, right on the number. Look for this one to continue moving higher tomorrow. Take a look at the 60-minute chart. Okay, it just broke out of this little choppy kind of bear flag that had a little support at 317, breakout at 318. Little shake and bake action here in the close, but then they rallied the mark. They rallied up pretty good in the last. Again, this probably rallied up in the last minute also. Well, no, not actually. They started rounding this thing up here around 2 o'clock or so slowly, but looks good for tomorrow. Keep it on your radar for sure. We've been talking about that stock ever since it broke out of our nice little downward channel that we mentioned to you guys back here. All right, so make sure you share the videos. Make sure you listen to our analysis. We have some good stuff to share with you guys. So anyways, back to the, let's go and take a look at the Dow Jones real quick via the DIA, the Dow ETF. Okay, the Dow. All right, this one is definitely not participating with the rest of the market. I mean, it is in a way that it bounced today, of course, but you can definitely see how this one is showing relative weakness to the other indices. You have the IWM making new all-time highs, the Nasdaq's making new 52-week highs, S&P 500, ES is going back up, trying to go back up towards those highs. But it definitely doesn't look, the Dow doesn't look as strong as the three I just mentioned. So if you were to put it in order, I would say the Russell, the Nasdaq, the S&P, and then the Dow Jones. All right. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about some other things here. The currencies. I like to look at the currencies with you guys so you guys could just get the perspective on how it's looking and what's going on with the currencies here. U.S. dollar still making its way down towards our little target from the megaphone pattern, broadening formation, whatever you want to call it. Again, as long as this thing can hold below 80.25 or better yet 80, you see it wicked 80 today, but it closed off the lows. This thing can hold below 80. We should be looking for this to make a move down. All right, as the trend is down, you can see it got rejected right from that key trend line from the little downward channel that we had marked right here that actually broke out, and we fell right back into it. And now this is a little bear flag breakdown. Again, it broke down, triggered the shorts, but then they bought it off of those lows. Still looking for the dollar to make a move lower, but we'll see how that plays out. And then the euro did the same thing. It triggered, broke out over those highs from yesterday, and then put a little possible topping tail in. Well, not possible. Put a little topping tail. Ugly looking gravestone doji, whatever they like to call these little candlesticks. All I know, it's an indecision candle. It's a little doji. It closed exactly where it opened up at, and it is a topping tail. It did take out this little high right here, so it possibly triggered some longs, and now they could be in a losing position. We'll see how it plays out. As long as this thing could hold, as long as the euro could hold above 134.75, I think this is just gearing up for a move higher because we do have this nice long expansion candle here, and we're still holding it up in the up. We're still holding up in the upper, say 38.2% of that range there. So this is actually like a bull flagging right now. But then again, we have this little top and tail, kind of mixed signals. We'll see. The dollar caught a bid today for some reason, and they sold the euro off. We'll see how that plays out. We need to keep on watching. It definitely got affected by the whole um, government bailout. I'm sorry, not government bailout, but the whole fiasco going on right now with the Republicans and the Democrats trying to get this little bill through, but they're blocking it. Government shutdown fiasco. Sorry, I'm all over the place today. So, in any case, let's go ahead and take a look at the gold futures here. Gold got clobbered today, down $39.40, down close to 3%. And now, if you take a look at our analysis here, we were not able to break inside the channel. We failed, and now it looks like we're forming a head and shoulders pattern underneath this resistance channel. So we got a left shoulder, we got a head, we got a little possible right shoulder right here, and we have the neckline around 1275. Guys, this thing breaks below 1275. This thing's going all the way back down towards 1200. A lot of people, even the CNBC guys, they were confused about why this gold's trading like this, and I guess people just see the markets are going back up, so they do not want to put their money in a hard asset that is not making them any return right now, unless they're shorted, and they want to put their money into these tech stocks and these financials that are pulling back to support levels, and some other names we'll take a look at here. So gold got hit today. I could take a look at the silver futures real quick to see how that precious metal traded, but all the precious metals were whacked down today. I didn't see any one of them that held up. I mean, copper was down, crude was down, silver was down, gold was down. Same thing for silver. Silver pulled back a bit, but silver actually looks a little bit interesting because it is still holding above this little range break we had in play. Okay, so let's see how silver reacts. If silver starts to hold back, if silver starts to trade back below 20 and a half, then this thing can make its way back down towards 18 and a half. Just keep that in mind. Let's take a look at copper. The reason why I'm going through these precious metals is because they did get whacked down today, so I want to touch base with them again myself, so I'm showing them to you guys as well. But copper, still hanging in there. All right, holding this nice little upward channel. Little wedge pattern forming here as we got this little resistance around 335. This little upper trend line is kind of contracting price and squeezing it together. We should see something resolve here, whether it be a break to the top side in the coming days or weeks, or a move back down to the bottom side. Just watching that copper. And when I look at copper, I like to take a look at FCX. Let's see how FCX traded today here. And gap down on the weakness of the metals, but they did buy it right back up. And then you have SCCO you can also take a look at, which probably did the same thing. Yep, gap down and closed up. Stock still looks pretty weak. All right, let's take a look at that volatility index, the VIX. Again, got smacked down today, down close to 6.5%. We had this nice little triangle pattern that it broke out of here. But again, every time it breaks above 16, what do? They sell it right back down. Sell it right back down. Let me zoom the chart out again. They sell it right back down. And the VIX may want to go back down towards this little zone that we have right here, back down towards 13 and a half. I mean, it could pull back down some more. Got to watch that 15 level on the volatility index. We'll see. What else? The VIX, the metals, crude oil. Let's go ahead and touch base on crude oil again. Crude oil was down about 70 cents a day, a little over 0.5%, closing at let's see, closing at 101.63. And right now it's a nice little downtrend. It's going to have some crude oil will have some nice support around 98, as that was a breakout level. All right, that we were holding that resistance for for half of the year here. So I don't think it will just go down there and slice right through it. I think there will be some players looking to pick up a long trade off that level. So if you're an equity trader, if you're an equity trader, excuse me, if you're an equity trader or an ETF trader, you can definitely look to maybe pick up some USO or pick up some energy stocks, so some stocks that tend to go up when crude oil goes up. If crude oil pulls back down here towards 98, all right, if it was to pull back down towards 98, that would be a great buy down there. I think at least for a scalp for sure. If we get back above 102 and start holding a nice bit above 102, crude oil may try to trade back inside the range up here towards at least the middle part of the range, 106, maybe even 109. But keep a close eye on this 98 level if we were to pull back down there. All right, so let's go ahead and finish talking about some stocks. Again, some stocks that are in play right now. The casinos, they've been trading pretty well. LVS, right? Nice day yesterday. A little quiet day today. Rallied off the lows. This thing looks like it may want to go higher tomorrow. Keep this one in your radar. MGM, another strong name that looks pretty good. Casinos, making new 5-year highs looks like, and new 52-week highs. Win. See what this thing. Win Resorts, pretty strong. Looks to go higher. This thing has a nice little pattern on the monthly chart. Looks like a cup and handle on the monthly chart. Let me bring this over for you guys real quick. Look at this pattern on Win, guys, here on the monthly time frame. Um, you have this nice little rounding bottom, rounding handle, breakout over 160 or so. Keep an eye on these casinos. If the market continues to go higher and the Nasdaq continues to outperform, or continues to well, if the Nasdaq outperforms this quarter, you can guarantee these stocks are going to be much higher, possibly making new all-time highs on Win in the coming days, weeks, or months. Keep an eye on this name here. The financials, not much excitement. I don't see any of them that were up over 1%. I mean, you did have BK. I'm not sure if they got upgraded this morning or anything, but Bank of New York Mellon was up over close to 2%. Aside from that, I really don't see any financials that were up over 1% here. That I'm looking at as far as any of the big banks. Let's see, Bank of America, BAC. Okay, needs to get back above that 14 level and hold a nice little bid for us there. Okay, see JP Morgan, of course. This stock sold off. It's been getting bought up for the past couple of days here, and now it's still kind of hanging in there. All right, nice little move off the lows. Trying to hold a bid right here at 51.50 off of this up move. Keep an eye on that name. And the financials are strong. They're just pulling back right now. Home builders. This was another strong sector that has been trading pretty decent. I did not get to take a look to see. I did not get a chance to take a look at the names to see what they did today. But you can see here, Toll Brothers pretty much did nothing. Lennar. See what this did here. Lennar up a little close to 1% today. And then you have KBH you can take a look at as well. And KBH. KBH looks like the best one. Possible little rounding bottom starting to form here. All right, higher pivot base, resistance around 19. Keep an eye on KBH. This thing triggers over these highs right here. It should make its way up towards 19. Keep this one on watch for tomorrow. A lot of bullish action in the healthcare sector. MRK up 2.25%. Amgen up 2.25%. BMY up 2%. So there's definitely some action in biotechs. Again, a biotech stock that you guys should keep on your radar is Kirk's, KERX. This stock looks like it's going much higher. I talked about this in one of my prior videos. You take a look at the monthly chart. The monthly chart's breaking out of a bull flag, and they have earnings coming out here. They have earnings coming out in November the 7th. So this stock's getting bought up ahead into those numbers. So they may have some drug coming out that has some good, some good results from it, revenue wise. All right, sales wise here, and this looks pretty good. Keep an eye on this Kirks if it takes out 1050. Let me take a look at the 60-minute chart, and you have a nice little bull flag forming right here, guys. A nice little up move, sideways consolidation, held a nice little level down here around 10, usually indicative of move higher. The sector's coming into play. Keep an eye on that name, Kirks. Some other names that are in play, some cheap ones. Zynga. Okay, also keep an eye on this REGN at the biotechs continue to move up over 320. Zynga's a lot of chatter going on this about this stock on the Twitter stream. A little rounding bottom action happening here. The weekly chart looks like it's trying to catch a bit. The monthly chart looks like it's finally bottomed out. Let's not forget the stock was at 15 before. Real breakout comes once this thing starts trading over $4, which could happen. I mean, who knows? Maybe they get an upgrade sometime this week or next week, and this thing takes off. You could definitely say that. You could definitely tell that there's more players in the stock because take a look at the volume here. Volume has been increasing. All right, and we're starting to pick up volume again here. What else? Uh, if you're looking for a Chinese play for the Zynga, well, then you need to do some research and check out this GA. All right, this stock is Giant Interactive Group. I believe it's Chinese stock, and they do the same thing, online video gaming, just like a Zynga. I had to do more research on it, but chart pattern looks good. Just wanted to throw that in. Just wanted to throw that in there for you guys. The steel stock showed some relative strength today. X and CLF were near the top of my change from open list, and they stayed near the top of the change from open list for a majority of the day. Take a look at US Steel. US Steel is holding above this nice little base it carved out between 1935, this nice little zone between 1935 and 16. Broke out 2 weeks ago and has not traded back below 1935 cents, and it's actually forming some nice higher pivot lows here. All right, from the breakout area, and nice support at 20. Triggers along on a strong break over 2150 unless you bought it somewhere down here near the bottom. It's a little base that was forming there. CLF, take a look at this name as well here. All right, CLF doesn't look that good as US Steel, so I would focus on US Steel. If you're looking for some strong energy names, you could take a look at SLB. All right, SLB looks like it's getting ready to break out. A nice sideways consolidation. 87 holding as support, was prior resistance, now holding as support, and we have a nice little resistance right here around say 89 and a half. Once this thing breaks out this nice little 2 week range or so, look for this thing to make a move higher. I really like how the monthly and the weekly chart are shaping up. All right, guys, that's about it. I already made a long video here for you guys. Hope you guys had a great trading day. And I'll definitely catch you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. The chat room opens up at 8:20. If you'd like to get access to that chat room, make sure you send me an email at ccooper@wallstreettrading.com. And before I leave, Yahoo also looks pretty darn good. Have a great day, folks. Cheers.